Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys, we're here today to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And yes, I am here early on time, whatever you want to call it, because I got it together. The computer is working again. My baby bought me some extra memory, so kudos to her. And if you hear any noise in the background, it's going to be her in the kitchen, so it's fine. We just live here. That's all. It's all right. Y'all, the episode picks up exactly where it left off with Ralph talking about, don't jump on my wife or whatever. Ain't nobody gonna be messing with her. And then he leaves, and I'm like, take your bitch ass on, then. Like, really, we didn't need you here, Ralph. We didn't. All right, so Sanya and her bitch ass husband go walking away, and he's like, "It's not cool. It's just not cool." And then he's in the confessional talking about, "Have you ever seen your wife drowning?" And that's what it felt like. And as the husband, I'm gonna be there to protect her. And I'm like, next time, don't be there. How about that? How about next time we just leave the husbands at home? How it's supposed to go. I mean, I know it's y'all tripping, y'all working, but still, like, ugh, y'all, I'm just not about them. But as they're walking away and they're still at the table, the rest of the party's still at the table, and Kenya's going on and on about how her and Sheree didn't make it, and it's a little weird that Marlo showed up and she wasn't even one of the original people that was supposed to go, and the fact that Sanya never questioned that. And Candy is just like, okay, it was a misunderstanding. Let's just chalk it up. And she's in the confessional like, I don't understand why they're so mad. It's not a big deal. And she tells Kenya, you guys still got on the boat, so it's fine. And Drew is just like, hold on. So she can't be called out on her shit? Everybody else is called out. I can get called out, but she can't? And Sheree's like, yeah, she can. And then Candy just threw her hands up like, I'm done with it. And yeah, Sanya is just full of it. Like, who does she think she is that she can, of course, get caught on her shit? And I understand what Candy was saying, that she's at a work event. So yeah, if you're working, you're not going to be like, oh, let me check on these people or whatever. But I don't like Sanya, so I'm just going to say it's a whole production. So why would you not just be like, did they get on the boat on time or something? Shoot a text. But she claims she lost her phone, or she just didn't have her phone, or whatever her excuse was. So it's whatever. Kenya should actually really drop it, because fuck Sanya and her husband. So then we have Sanya in the confessional saying the person who really surprised her is Sheree, because she felt like her, Marlo, and Sheree were the Three Musketeers and everything, and they had a pact. And I'm like, you so dumb. You're so dumb. Like, in my Remy Ma voice, you're so dumb. Because, are you kidding me that you really think you got a pact with Sheree and Marlo? These girls will turn on you in the blink of an eye, especially for a storyline. Are you kidding me right now? Like, Sheree didn't have two thoughts about throwing Sanya under the bus, like she left us and that's shitty and that's bad. No, because they're not your real friends. Sanya's stupid. And that is exactly what a pick me gets. You just be all in. Oh my God, that's my girl, that's my girl. And you turn against everybody else just for them. And now look at you on the wrong team. You then went down the wrong road. Wrong road. All right, so we're not done yet. In the confessional, Marlo is saying that King is just mad and going on and on because the guy named John left her on the first night. Marlo never knows what she's talking about, number one. And number two, she centers everything around men and having a man and keeping a man. And we have never seen this lady with a man, like an actual boyfriend, a man that she can keep. So I don't understand why she figures that all women should be centering their lives around men and what happened with men. That, like, she's so stupid. Half of these women are so stupid. Like, she definitely cannot read, because she just says whatever comes to her head, and half the time it makes no sense. Candy says that if you compare the two trips, the one that Marlo hosted and the one that Sanya's hosting, Sanya's winning. And okay, it's whatever. All right, so Sanya and her husband go back to the table, and she sits down and acts very phony or whatever. I just really want us to still have a good time, and I just want us to go on the not catamaran. I want us to go on these boats tomorrow and wear your Jamaican colors for dinner. And this, like, Sanya is just so full of instructions and directions and stuff that you have to do on this trip for her. It's so annoying. Like, it's so freaking annoying. She has something, I mean, I guess. All right. All right, I guess I'm being unreasonable. It's okay for her to have an itinerary, I guess. But I just feel like she's always throwing out some kind of instructions. She just irritating, y'all. All right, so they had to carry Drew out in the wheelchair because they was going over cobblestone. And when I tell you, Candy was like, "Oh, dang, Drew, it take 4 men to carry you." She said she felt like Beyonce, and I'm like, "Girl, you could never." But yeah, so then we're finally past this scene. All right, Sheree is talking to one of her assistants, and the assistant is telling her, "Listen, some things did not arrive. Things are not going as planned." And Sheree is talking about how she only has a few weeks to get it together. And I'm like, "Girl, why do you just keep trying it? Just stop." Like, she should have definitely been embarrassed from the fashion show with no fashions. How dreadful. Why are you doing it again? Like, this could have been her makeup time, which actually it should have, because she's gonna have like hella people there, um including Dwight. Dwight, who do we see? Dwight, Apollo, more people, whatever. She definitely could have made up for where she went wrong. But it looks like, of course, we saw from the previews, that's not going to happen. It's going to happen all over again, where it is going to be dreadful. And what else? Like, what else do we expect from Sheree? And it's so terrible that we expect that from her, you guys. Like, it's awful. And then I watched Candy speak on it today, and she was saying how people were saying she was being shady because she put out her worldwide shirts before Sheree got her stuff. Listen, time waits for no one. Why should she have to wait to do her stuff? Because Sheree is not serious about anything. She don't get anything produced. She doesn't. She's not a mover and a shaker. So I'm not mad at Candy for getting her what she say, shirts and just kind of everything as worldwide. So I wouldn't buy one, but I ain't mad at her. All right, so the next day we see everybody meeting in the lobby, and Marlo is taking over because we saw where Sanya left at like 7 in the morning, and she texts Marlo and asked her if she could be the host for a little while until she got back because she was going back to work. And we also see a flashback of the fact that Sanya told Sheree, I guess after dinner they went back to her room or somebody's room or something, and she's like, "I'm going to send a special car for you to make sure you don't miss it. I want you to be there." And I'm like, how shitty is that? How shitty is that? Like, Kenya, she don't fool with you, so don't fool with her. And again, I can't wait until the reunion because I'm hoping Kenya lets her have it. Because how rude. How freaking rude. If you were gonna try to extend an olive branch or whatever, how nice would it have been to send a car for both Sheree and Kenya? But she don't fool with Kenya, so hopefully Kenya don't fool with her either. So Sheree ends up making it to the shoot as soon as it's over. And I'm like, yeah, of course. She said the driver got lost though. Sanya, of course, was not mad, but she was like, well, I guess it would have been nice, so it's whatever. They're back in the lobby with Marlo trying to take over, and she's like, "We're gonna go do the bamboo boats or whatever. Come on, guys, let's go." And Kenya and Candy are both like, "Why would she put Marlo in charge knowing nobody likes her? People are just not getting along with her. So why would you have her in charge?" And she's loud as usual and being all like, "Come on, let's go show our smiling faces." And nobody is paying her attention. And as she's talking, Kenya gets up and walks away on her phone. So she does it like she has to breathe and breathe, like she's really irritated. And then when it's time to go, she's like, "Let's go. Come on, everybody, let's go." Nobody moves. "Come on, everybody, let's go." And then she's just like breathing, breathing because nobody likes you, sis. So Go. You and your little minion can go. But they eventually, of course, go and they're not happy about it, which I don't blame them. I'd have been like, can't really make this trip. So as Sheree and Sanya are walking back to the hotel, Sanya's telling her that, she's glad she could join and everything. And Sheree is like, yeah, but you know that Kenya's gonna have something to say about the fact that you invited me and not her. And she's like, so I don't care. I don't care. I really, really tried with her, and I thought that we were going to really make a friendship. No, you didn't, and no, you didn't. But I think because I'm getting so close with Marlo, she has an issue with that. And you guys, I don't think so. I just honestly don't think so. I feel like Kenya can definitely separate the two. I don't feel like she was lumping them together or whatever. I mean, it's clear that Sanya is all up their asses. It is. But I definitely feel like she could have separated the two. The fact of the matter is, Sanya is just annoying. She's annoying as fuck. So I understand what King is going through with her. But, she goes on about how, well, Sheree tells her that, you're going to have to do something because she's going to keep trying you. With Kenya, once you wake her up, once you mess with her or whatever, she's going to keep trying you until you handle that. And she's like, oh, well, she better beware because the Jamaican tyrant is on the loose. Girl, bye. Bye, Sanya. Bye. All right, so they're headed to some place for lunch and find out that Drew's not going. And Todd is like, yeah, I told her, even if you're not coming, Ralph can come. And they were all like, Todd, you so foul. Listen, I understand. Why can't Ralph leave just because you need to be up in the room? But anyway, and I'm sure Ralph felt the same way. Like, listen, let me go kick it, please, because he don't like her. But yeah, so they get to the place. Sharea's already there, and they sit down and Marlo is going on and on about what happened, what'd you do and everything. I think pretty much just kind of trying to let Kenya know that she was there and she wasn't invited. And also Sheree with the whole, yeah, she felt bad, we had a conversation, so she invited me today. And in the confessional, Kenya was like, am I salty because she didn't invite me? No, obviously she felt a way about the conversation, so it just lets me know how Sanya deals with conflict. And I'm like, not to mention, you don't care about her. Like, you don't care about her. But I thought it was funny that in the conversation, they were asking, like, what was she doing and everything. Candy's like, well, so what did you do? I was just there for support. And I'm like, girl, you weren't there. You're not gonna tell them the truth that you came as soon as it was over. Like she was like, oh, she just had to speak and talk and take video and Sheree, you were not there. You were not there. So, yeah, I thought it was hilarious that she acted as if she was there. And I think all of that was just to irritate Kenya, but Kenya don't care. Excuse me, y'all. While they're eating, birds come and they just start pooping all over everywhere. So everybody's getting up, having a fit or whatever. Candy gets up and takes her plate. And she's like, listen, one thing I'm going to do is always eat my meal. Like, I'm not going to skip a meal. It's not going down. And we know Candy don't play about her food. So Marlo is like, we could take our plates and go to the pool or whatever and eat by the pool. Y'all want to do that? Kenya was just like under her breath, like, I'm fine. I don't eat here. She's like, well, anybody that wants to stay with Kenya can just go ahead and stay with Kenya. We're going to the pool. So she walks off with her minion and they're talking about how the birds were pooping on the right people, Kenya and all them. And she's so pressed. This lady is so pressed that she's sitting there waiting to see who's coming and how long it takes them. And Sheree's friend Michelle was already sitting there. And then Manetta and her husband comes and she's like, Manetta's coming with Candy's approval. And then Sheree comes and she's like, oh, you made it. So Candy, Todd, and Kenya come walking out. And she's like, we're over here, Candy, Todd. And Todd is like, yeah, we're going to the private bungalow, VIP. We don't sit in general population. And I was dying laughing. I loved every moment of it. She's so pressed. She is so freaking pressed. All right, so as they're sitting at the pool, of course Marlo needs to vent. She wants to talk about it and talk to Manetta because, while I have you, I feel like you can be, neutral or whatever. And Sheree, you'll tell me if I'm wrong. And I'm like, no, she won't. No, she won't. So she goes on and on about how Candy should not have brought up the nephews around people, and why did she use that against her? Like, are you kidding? Like, it made sense, the fact that she brought it up, because it was in context with what you were doing with Drew's husband. So what she it wasn't like she just brought it out to be like, and you got rid of your nephews just in the conversation. No, it had everything to do with what you were doing to Ralph. So she can miss me with that. But of course, Manetta was trying to be neutral. She's saying, well, I think she genuinely cares about you. She didn't mean to go low. I get what you're saying. And Marlo's like, but you have to get what I'm saying. She just wants somebody to agree with her. Talking about somebody should have told her you were wrong for bringing up her nephews or whatever. Nobody's on your team, Marlo, because you are always wrong. I just cannot stand the way she goes after people and then plays the victim. Marlo is really, really off her rocker, y'all. Like, something is really wrong with this lady, and I think we all know that at this point. And it's just like watching a train wreck, watching her. Like, it's not even funny anymore because she really does have an issue. All right, so they make it to the bamboo boats, and it's funny because both Kenya and Todd are not happy that it's not whitewater rafting. Like, they're like, this is the Golden Girl shit. Todd is like, listen, we need a motor on the back, so when we get done with all this calmness or whatever, we could just be like, "Arr." And I'm like, yeah, they're not about it. He's like, we about to go down the lazy river. So we have Kenya and Sheree on one boat talking. And of course, Sheree is bringing up everything that happened and the fact that she told Marlo they need to, not Marlo, Sanya, they need to have a conversation. And Kenya is going on about Ralph standing up. And, it was so aggressive because he's a man standing up cursing or whatever. And she was like, I felt bad for myself. Y'all, I died. This fool said she felt bad for herself, that she didn't have a man to take up for her. Oh my God, hilarious. And then, of course, Sheree is like, yeah, he wasn't really aggressive though. And she's like, standing up cursing, that's not aggressive to you. And, in the confessional, Sheree was just like, well, he was taking up for his wife. So that's what a husband is supposed to do. And I'm like, not on this show. Not on this show. What did Todd say when they sat down? And, oh, it's coming up, so I'm jumping ahead. But when Marlo ends up apologizing or whatever, all Todd says is, listen, when y'all into it, leave me out of that shit. And that's how it goes. He didn't say, don't get into it with my wife, leave her alone. He didn't do all that. He just said, leave me out of it. So he knows how to play the game. Ralph needs to learn. All right, so now it's time for dinner, and they're all going. Kenya goes to Drew's room to see if she's going. She can't go. She said in order to fly, she can't be on the painkillers, so she's in a lot of pain, and her foot is swollen. Who cares? Yeah, I'm sorry. Who cares? But she leaves. They go down. Marlo is with Sanya and her husband. And when they get to the table, she's like, Marlo, sit here. Marlo, sit here. Like a little kid. Like, what is wrong with Sanya? Why does she have arrested development? Seriously. Like, something is wrong with her. She acts like a 12-year-old. It's not even cute. Like, put your phone here. And Marlo is like, cause you don't want nobody to sit next to you but me. And she's like, yeah. Girl, how old are you? Seriously. And then it turns out that Marlo and Candy they have on the same shirt. And I was so mad when Candy started speaking to her again. And she's like, Candy, look. And Candy's like, oh, this is crazy. It's so crazy. And they end up speaking again. And I was just like, ugh, ugh. But Kenya says that she saw the shirt and she happened, what she said was Alice McQueen or something like that. I could be wrong, you guys. I know it was Alex make something. I don't know, but she said that she started to buy the shirt too. All right, so at dinner, Marlo goes on this whole thing about Sheree cheering for her, and I just loved it so much because you were cheering for me, and whenever I'm done, I'm gonna listen to it. Marlo is so dramatic and so phony. She's so fake and phony. Sheree is like, okay, you said you and Candy need to have a conversation. So of course they talk about what happened, and Marlo just feels like, I can't believe you brought that up in front of people, and other people. Girl, you do the same thing. So just because it's done to you, and that's what Candy was saying when she was like, listen, when you go low, I'm not Michelle Obama, I'm going to go low with you. And she's like, well, then we can both go low. Neither one of us know how to read classy. I'm like, no, you definitely don't know how to read, period. Just period. Hard stop. And this is where Todd says, listen, whenever y'all get into it, just leave me out of it. Leave me the fuck out of it. And she's like, dang, you gotta curse at me? Like, wait till I have a man around me before you. When are you gonna have a man around you, Marlo? When? When is that gonna be that you have a man around you so Todd can curse at you? And Candy is just like, see, this is what I'm talking about. All right, so we ended with Marlo saying, well, we end the whole this whole conversation with Marlo saying, "Listen, going forward, I would just appreciate it if you would not bring up my nephews in front of people and the public, and I will not say anything about your husband." Okay, fine, fine. And they were all like, "I'm still gonna support you, sis." And Candy was like, "Well, I'm still gonna support you too." What? Candy, what? Why are you still supporting this broad? Like, it should have been like, no, no, I'm done with you. Like, you cannot continue to do stuff and think that I'm still gonna fool with you. I'm just not. Mm-mm. But they made up. So, all right. All right, so the men end up leaving and they're talking about, well, let's just still have fun and laugh. And I'm like, nah, why don't y'all just take your ass to bed? How about that? Just go. Because I guess you're leaving tomorrow. And they're like, Sanya, because Sanya's looking all crazy. Sanya, you don't want to laugh and have fun? She's like, yeah, I do. But the entire time she's looking at Kenya, she's so pressed with Kenya. It's ridiculous. Her and Marlo both. But she's staring at Kenya like she wants to fight her because what Kenya's doing is just not giving her any energy. Like as Sanya's talking, she's looking away. She's looking other places or whatever. And Sanya's so freaking obsessed with her. Excuse me. And she's like, Kenya, what's up? And Kenya starts smiling. She's like, what's up with you? And she's like, well, yeah, you're all on your phone and disengaging every time I talk or whatever. And Kenya's like, what are you talking about? My phone is over there. And the whole time she's smiling, making her look so stupid because Sanya is looking really, really mad. Like she just want to knock Kenya's block off. But girl. So this girl ends up telling Kenya that she has been ungrateful because everybody else has said, and she didn't finish her thought. She's like, Manetta, everyone. Like, Sanya just wants people to kiss her ass and be like, oh my God, you, good job. You did a good job. Bitch, you doing a good job. Bitch, you doing a good job. Sanya is just too much. Like she is very overbearing. She's very bossy. She's very needy. She is very annoying. Like it's so much wrong with her. It really is. And King is like, ungrateful. What are you talking about? Like she's making her look so stupid. She really is. What do you want her to do? Kiss your feet because you hosted a trip? Are you kidding me right now? And she's going on and on, of course. And King is like, okay, so you don't want to talk about the situation at hand with you pretty much not, caring if we made it to the thing or not. All right, y'all. So let's wrap it up. Every time Kenya tries to speak, Sanya tries to overtalk her. And Kenya's like, listen, I'm going to talk. You're going to listen. Like, that's how it's going to work. You're not going to tell me how it's going to work. And she's going back and forth. And Kenya's like, oh, yes, I am. And, like, it's just a mess. And Candy in the confessional is like, girl, Sonny, you can't win against Kenya. Like, give it up. You can't win against her. And it's true. And then even in her confessional, Sonya's like, I'm in Jamaica. How am I not reading her? Like Kenya was reading her down. And she's just sitting there looking stupid. And she's like, how am I not reading her? Because you don't know how. So it's okay, sis. Hopefully you won't be back next season. So we don't want you to even attempt to try to learn. It's okay. And that's kind of where the episode ends, I think. Let me click it again and see, but I'm kind of ready for it to be over. Oh yeah, you guys, I can't leave out the part, my favorite part, where Sonya just cannot get her thoughts together. She can't, she's like stumbling and I'm just like, what is she saying? And as I'm thinking that, King is like, what are you talking about? And then she tells her, you're so inarticulate, you can't you can't express what you're saying. Oh my God, hilarious. Then later on, she ends up, they end up making up, oh, I like you too, I really want to be your friend, whatever. Kenya, you don't want to be her friend, and I would not like for you to be her friend either. So let's just go with that. But they do this whole makeup thing or whatever, and excuse me. And then King is giving her all these compliments. You're very accomplished and articulate. And then the producers roll back to like 2 minutes earlier where she called her inarticulate. It's just like, girl, make up your mind. And I feel like you really think she's inarticulate. So let's stick with that one. But you guys, that's just pretty much where the episode ends. And we will pick up next week. Trying to think if I think next week look like it's gonna be pretty good. So I will see you guys in the next video. If you are still here, you are the real MVP. Thank you so much. If you have not already, please consider subscribing, like, and I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.